Hey everyone, welcome back. Now today I'm going to be doing another mail call, as it's been a while since done anything worthwhile making a video of, even though I probably should be. So these here were a couple kits I bought recently, and most of which have been things I've been looking for a long time. So starting off with it first, found have a sealed copy here now finally of the AMT Ertl Monster Jam Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle truck, which some of you may know I did have a did do a review on the parts of this kit a couple years ago now, and then did try to do a rebuild of this truck that I had, but was experiencing some problems with what I had built. So instead of taking frustration on it, fair just might as well spend the extra money to get a replacement. And even though it would have been nice that it was opened instead of factory sealed, it's pretty much whatever. So that one's that's good to have. This is a good one to finally have. And then along with that, I was able to find one of the other three trucks, which here is the Jurassic Attack, which of course uses a completely different body. So this one here, I figured, might as well, while I'm at it, might as well pick this one up from the seller, so that I can have some more things, or have more trucks to the collection, along with the Bigfoot trucks I do have. Though this is also going to be an interesting one to build up, as I'm quite curious to know how exactly the body work actually goes like, because simply by looking at it, it's got a very intricate design to it. And if this is all simply just one decal, or if there's multiple decals, it's going to be quite the challenge to get everything aligned properly and sorted out. But yeah, it'll be an interesting task to see how this goes, especially for the 3D body styles. And then stepping away a little bit from the Monster Jam trucks, here's a couple that been looking around at getting for a while. Which the first one being here is the AMT Ertl 2005 Ford GT, which is which the car itself is quite nice, and then pretty much did have the opportunity a long time ago to sit in one of these cars, which is definitely unique, and you definitely don't see this car in model form all that often. Though that being said, there is the Polar Lights Golf livery GT Heritage. Of course, with this, probably gonna do it a more stock scheme, as the decals on here are probably just various different colors. So it'll be interesting to see how this builds up. And then, of course, there's not a huge amount of info given on the kit, though from what I've seen, it is a full kit, even though the rear hatch doesn't actually open up. So in a way, it's kind of a curbside kit, but in a way, a full kit at that. So there's that, and then to go along with the 05 Ford GT, also got this GT90, which is one of my roughly around my top 5 favorite 90s concept cars, along with a couple Pontiacs and a few other things here and there. But it's just overall how unique it looks. Pretty much just that not retro 90s style spaceship design. Then of course I believe too that this is a very basic kit from what I've been hearing up upon. So this one here, which I believe is a snap together kit that was released a couple years prior to this release, which would have been about 2000, okay, about 2000 or slightly earlier than that. Because looking on the box here, yeah, it's a 2007 release, which is actually surprisingly newer than I was originally anticipating for this kit. But this is definitely one that very unlikely will ever make an appearance. So glad to have this in the collection, and that this will get a build up one of these days eventually. So yeah, go. And then sticking with stuff like that, do have another a classic favorite of mine. It's the Dodge Viper RT10, which this one here's the 1993 release, I believe. Okay, no, yeah, 1992, so roughly around that time. I did build a Revell version a few years ago, but that was more like a basic snap together kit, and this more of a full kit. So it'll be interesting to see how this will go together, as a lot of these early to mid 90s AMT Ertl kits can be a bit all over the place, both good and bad. So this will be definitely a unique experience to say if or when I eventually get around to building this, which hopefully I do. So put that up there, and then a little bit of a bonus kit that I'm pretty much treating myself to is a 67 Pontiac GTO by MPC, which I know a lot of people are going to say how this isn't exactly the best kit ever, or it's not one worth wasting time over. But the reason why I got it was that it was cheap enough, and then also too, this is, I believe, the 1984 or 85 release. So it's got the cool looking box art, and especially being that 80s era themed with the gradient orange to yellow box design. Of course, does give you a list of what other build options you can get for the car, as well as quite a bit of detailed information on it. The main reason also too why I bought it is that I have another 67 GTO that I do want to do a comparison video on, which is a 20-year newer release than this one, seeing how different it actually is, comparing a middle-aged release versus a more modern release, even though the kit is starting to get quite there in age. So this definitely is definitely nice to get, so to speak. We'll just get some of these out of the way, just to clear space, as this next one's going to be quite the big one. And that there being the AMT Ertl Kenworth T600A, which I know some may remember is that I did have a NASCAR build series featuring the T600A Aero Cab with the race car hauler. I did end up running into some snags and roadblocks with that kit, so been holding off on it until I could find a replacement. Which then I end up finding this one, which what I'm looking at doing is taking the parts that didn't work out well with and pretty much just take what I have from the other kit, take the parts out of this, so that I can have one full actual built truck, so that can at least have some proper content coming out on that, which I know it's been way longer in the works than it probably should have. So yeah, so that's a good one to have. And then plus two, I do have other race car trailers. So just having the truck, if I end up not needing some of the parts, or if I end up building this in a different fashion, I'll at least have another rig to the collection. So this is definitely, so yeah, this was definitely a good one to find. And then of course, you do have does give you full info here on the engine, the the side fascia, opening doors, interior, and special aerodynamic parts, which of course you don't really, there's not really that, aside from what Italeri may produce, it's not really a crazy amount of really modern trucks. So to have something a bit different, especially in the Kenworth variety, it's definitely going to be a little bit something else to look forward to and eventually get together. So yeah, there's pretty much, so that I believe is pretty much going to cover it. Got but quite a few good looking odds and ends. So yeah, I'm going. So some of these definitely going to be getting a proper build video when I have the time, along with a couple other projects here and there. So that'll be it for this video, and see you next time.